joining us for, I guess, the second or the third time. Definitely friend of the show, since it was like, I guess it was the second episode, I think we were looking back at it, that you joined us. So thank you so much for all of your help and like making observable pre-render and joining the show and everything. It's awesome to have you on.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So back to our like season 2 segment idea. The idea was for this one that we could sort of go over last season's COVID adventures and notebooks. And so, Ian, I don't know if you want to pull up. You are so good at the collections of the organization of all of our output.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of notebooks that we made and iterated on over, I guess, several streams for sure. And we can take a look at them. But the thing that actually ends up tying them all together, I think, except after the very first one we did, was that we used observable pre-render on each notebook to generate animations of whatever the visualization was. So like a lot of the work was to build up the visualization, make it kind of configurable so you could get a sense of, what you're going to get. You could change the date. But we wanted to then say, okay, now generate this visualization for every day since the pandemic began. And that's where pre-render came in. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
Do you want to? Yeah, we ended up making a ton of time lapses. Like, Ian, I don't know if you want to show your absurd folder of time lapses, but like that's a pretty good example of, all the MP4s you made.
Let me bring that up for sure. And I'll also load. This was like sort of the latest iteration where we had like the force bubbles and the calendar, so you can visualize. That was one thing you'll see is that being able to see having a legend, right? So let me pull my code over here, and I think we called it scrape art. So we ended up, I think a lot of the times we ended up using like writing our own node script and importing observable pre-render.
Yeah. Well, because we just wanted more control over the like overwriting, and I think we had made a pattern before you even added the command line options, so we just ended up just leaning on that more and more.
Yeah. So this is like the last animation we made with the latest iteration. And it's just, it's kind of crazy how everything lights up. And so it actually stops at October 11th. So we got a month of data probably that I could probably just kick this off in the background and run it again. So, do you think we should take a moment and have Alex tell folks what observable pre-render is all about? Because
totally, and maybe also like just for me, like what you've added since the last time we talked, because it's like I feel like you've added a lot of things that make it easier for folks to use.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess just to describe what observable pre-render is, if you haven't heard of it before. So it's an NPM package. So it's a Node.js little code utility that also offers a command line interface if you're into that. But it's basically a way to get an observable notebook and pre-render it using Puppeteer. And if you're unfamiliar with that, basically observable notebooks, they're coded and they're meant for browser JavaScript. So like you open it in a browser like Chrome or Firefox or whatever, and that's how you like kind of interact with it. But when I first created it, one thing that I really wanted to do was to be able to like from the command line or like from some like node script, just to be able to like kind of run the notebook and like change different like cells and like redefine cells to be certain things and just to save the output as like a SVG or a PNG or take a screenshot or anything like that or something like that. And that's what Puppeteer allows you to do. Puppeteer is a version of Chromium that you could like control programmatically. So you could open up this web page and click on these things and wait for this to happen and then run this JavaScript code or whatever. So what no observable pre-render is that it's a very light wrapper around Puppeteer that interacts with a notebook's underlying runtime. So using the observable runtime, you're able to like get a notebook and you're able to like specifically change certain values of a cell. You could wait for that value to propagate to other cells, and then you can like take screenshots or download SVGs of other cells. So when I first had it, it was just like a pure npm package. So you could do npm install observable prerender, and then you could write a node script that imports the library, and then you pass in the name of the notebook and the cells you want to do. And there's like a small little API to redefine cells or wait for the value of a cell, or to take a screenshot using Puppeteer's underlying API. Since then, I made a command line interface, and I think the notebook that they're showing here is the documentation for that. So using a CLI, it's just much faster to because having to write a new node script for every time you want to do something gets kind of annoying.
That's what we were doing.
Hundreds of little yeah.
Can I just pause you for a second and admire the color coding, the documentation here?
Yeah, I love that little detail.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I don't know if you want to say just quickly what the difference is between these two. I think that's what you were just talking about, right?
Yeah, this is exactly it. So the code at the very top, the const load require and all that. So that code block is what you would have to do before when the library first came out. And what that code is doing is that it's specifically saying that, okay, so we're going to load the D3 bar chart, the little blue, the piece of code that's highlighted in blue. We're going to load the D3 bar chart notebook, and we're going to specifically load the chart cell that exists in that notebook. And then we're just going to take a screenshot of that chart cell and save it as a file as chart.png. And then at the very end, we'll just close the browser to kind of clean things up, right? This is what you would normally have to do. You would just copy and paste the script into a new node script every time you wanted to do it, or change the add variables or whatever. And the second line of code that's a little bit below that, that one-liner, the observable-prerender, bar chart, whatever, that's just it's a built-in command line tool that's in the observable prerender package now. So you just run that and it'll automatically save it for you. So observable prerender, we want to pre-render the D3 bar chart notebook. We want to specifically pre-render the chart cell, and we want to save it as a PNG, and it kind of renders it out like that. There's still some things that I want to do for the CLI to make it a little bit more intuitive, or for it to play nicer into other tools. A little bit further down, I had another common use case for observable pre-render is that you have a notebook and you kind of want to constantly. You want to screenshot multiple times, basically. So it could be you have a COVID map that has it shows you the COVID cases in the United States on March 1st, right? And you have a variable that says March 1st and gets all the data and displays it on a map.
Exactly.
But then you want to also see what was on March 2nd or March 3rd, and kind of goes on and on like that. So you would have before you would have a node script where you would loop through all the days of something, and then you would specifically how it's shown right here. So we would have a dates cell that had a list of all the dates that were possible to render in this map, and then you would loop through them all individually, and then you would redefine and wait for the date cell to update, and then for the update function to have to, and then you would take a screenshot. So it's just kind of annoying. So there's another CLI tool that gets bundled with observable prerender called observable-prerender animate that tries to make it a little bit easier. So so just from the CLI, you're able to just call that and you say oh, I want this cell to iterate over the values of this other cell. It's kind of complicated and it's kind of annoying. There's an example right there, right in the middle of the screen, the observable prerender animate, and then a bunch of backslashes and bash related stuff. It's not the most intuitive API out there, but if you are familiar with the observable pre-render API and you kind of know what's going on in the hood, you can kind of get a sense for it, and it really makes it a little bit faster. But there's definitely small improvements I want to make here or there to make it better, or make the CLI arguments a little bit more intuitive and all that. But so far it's been pretty cool.
That's super dope.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. We've loved using the script version, and I think it'll be great to use.
We needed it immediately, the first episode we needed it, you know what I mean? And you had just made it, so it's been so fortuitous to get to use it and get to know you and all that stuff. I have one thing I'm curious about is there any way to sort of auto detect cells that can be captured? My use case might be we made all these notebooks for our first season. Would there be any way to point pre-render and automatically get images from all of them, or would I have to go out and specify per notebook which, you know what I mean? Is there any way to remove that step to automate it?
Yeah, I think there's a few ways you could do it. I think there's you could just like pre-render the entire notebook and wait for all the cells to be finished, and then like take a screenshot of like how it looks on the like how the first
Oh,
couple
that's
cells look or like the
interesting.
first whatever. Yeah, I mean I think that's what observable HQ actually does for thumbnail generators. They like just run the notebook in some Puppeteer instance, and then like take a screenshot of like the first page or whatever. You could also, I guess, like go through all the cells and like see if there's an SVG element inside that cell, then screenshot that. I think there's a few different ways to do that. Yeah, there
That's
might be like some
interesting.
subtle bugs that I have because like I never really like have the need to like screenshot an entire notebook, so like I haven't really like tested that exact API too much, so like I wouldn't be surprised if you find like a bug or two there.
Well, there was a
But there's
Ian.
definitely like
You
yeah.
you tried playing around with like the history. Have you played with that at all, Alex? Of like animating over the
Yeah,
history of a notebook?
no, but that sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, we
did
did.
you actually do that, Ian, or did we just talk about it?
I did it, um, but I think it didn't
Because what
work.
I want is I want to say, dear script, go out to all the notebooks we made and get me an image for every revision of it, so we can like watch each of them grow, so we can like see like basically every
Mm,
visualization develop over the last season, right?
mm.
But that's just me dreaming.
Yeah, this one was something like that, but there's a couple of things. Like one is,
Yeah, when
every
their
version, it's
decision
not
of version,
changing.
like how does observable decide when to version was a big question, right?
Well, yeah, there's sometimes it seems like some are missing, but then the other thing is that it's like you're changing code that's not related to that cell. It could update the version.
Hmm.
So if you're over, like we edit our notebooks and like we built like several charts. So this one isn't that interesting because like we didn't have one cell that was the focus of the notebook that we built up over the course of it. But it is an interesting idea, and I think that oh, I'm going too fast. I think this one was more like this was when we were first trying to figure out this technique of the
Oh yeah,
random
this one is a little bit
shift.
more expressive in its evolution.
Mm.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like I would love for that to be an observable feature where it just like because you should be able to look at whether or not the cell changed at all in between two versions too, right? And like you can imagine just a time lapse of every cell that has a visualization by default would be sick.
Yeah, I want like that scene in The Matrix where like the dude has all the TV screens. I want like that, but for every cell we've ever made.
Oh, and they're just falling down the screen
Yeah,
as the
yeah,
cells.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, all
All
right.
right, and then the other question I had is that like I'm when you were all of those like command line options, it reminded me of like the old view initialization thing where it used to be you'd have to specify all that, but now they have this like kind of like wizard where it just asks you, you know what I mean? It asks you and give you a bunch of options. I would love to see something like I don't know. I've never built anything like that. I wouldn't even know where to start, but that's a
Like so
go ahead.
like when you're using like a CLI program, it's able to like recommend specific flags or ways to go about it,
Yeah,
or
let me see. Actually, let me just pull up. Unfortunately, my screen is not shared on Skype, so you have to look at it on Twitch. But if you, I'll like make a new project in Vue and iTerm on mine, and you can sort of see what I'm talking about. Where like it asks you a few questions about what you want to do. So let's see. I'll make this big.
okay, yeah.
So I'll say Vue create test maybe. Yeah, right. So you can go in and manually select features. So I want to choose
Yeah.
Babel, and I want Vuex, and I want unit testing, and then I want to use 2x, and then I want to use ESLint and Prettier, and then lint on save, and then I want to use Jest, and then put it all in package JSON, and then it like I want to save the preset as test, and then it like does all this stuff for you. But I like that the like stepping it out where I don't have to like copy and paste a bunch of flags between my text editor, like you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
the thing like that little detail. I don't know how they do it either. Like I don't know if it's like a thing they custom built, or if it's like a thing that you can just attach to command line libraries easily. But like I would love to
Yeah.
I'd love to try that something like that. How do I make this?
Yeah, like the number of tools that are out there to build like command line interfaces, like they're not that popular for like most people because like the number of times you have to create like an interactive CLI that does something is like unless you're building it like an internal tool for a company, like it doesn't come up that often. But like waiting for user input and checkboxes and all that. I think someone like I was playing around with the library where like someone basically built React for like terminal applications. So instead of like working on the DOM, it works on like text nodes, and like you're able to like have like select things and like almost have like quasi like text boxes inside of a terminal. It's pretty crazy, and like
That's
I
cool.
like the idea of observable pre-render, like being
What's
able to like choose notebooks that you own or choose specific cells to pre-render and all that. It sounds pretty cool.
what are the search terms for that? The like React for the terminal.
Oh, that specific project was called React Inc., I think. And I think he has like a few links to like other libraries that are like somewhat similar in like the JavaScript sphere. But like there's been a lot of like in older languages like Python and like even before that, I think curses is a popular term about like having like a terminal program that like takes up the entire terminal that you get to interact with. I think people used to use it for games and like other interfaces. But yeah, there's a ton of other like weird like CLI specific UI builders. It's interesting.
This is so weird. I think this is exactly what I was looking for of like how they build things like this. But the idea of writing what looks like it's like XML almost HTML for what the command line shows is kind of crazy to me. Like it's kind of mind blowing.
Definitely.
Cool.
Nice.
Do you want to? Can you take us to your folder, Ian? Your folder of time lapses and pre-renders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What is this?
This was, the idea of like when running a force simulation and saving the positions at every tick or whatever, and then animating that. So, or like playing that back, right? So I have a notebook where where you can do a slider, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff like this where if you have a bigger force layout, like a bigger network or it's slow, it probably won't be able to run interactively. So being able to generate a movie, I guess this one was like kind of bigger. These weird wiggly ones where I was like doing them a different way, I guess.
Oh wow, that one's really cool.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, that has a very organic vibe to it. I don't know why.
Well, and it's like that's the other thing about this. If you think about the video as a way of understanding the algorithm, right? Like we get an organic vibe from this layout, like the way it works. Actually, the funny thing is it works also the same way as the Boids. Each node like has rules about how it's going to act based on what's around it and based on the links. Just a little bit extra stuff in there. But that's like kind of the art of a good force visualization is that things end up in a place that makes it more readable, right? Like that helps you make sense of the network. And that's not always going to be the first thing that you plug in, like when the out of the box defaults, you have to like tweak a lot of the parameters, right? So I feel like this as a way of evaluating how your layout and feels, right? You get a sense of the whole thing over this short time period. Let me see if there's more. No, that's the most of.
Do you have the latest COVID one that we made? Because we might. Do you want to try rerunning it with the command line command to get like the most recent version?
Yeah. Oh, this one was one where I laid out the counties differently. That one's weird. This is also a different layout.
Whoa.
This is the one that is like the legit one, Bubble 7.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been looking at other maps of like the last month of COVID, and it's mind blowing. Like, It's off the charts.
Yeah, it kind of gives me like a headache to even think about it, but I guess I should just, stare at it.
It's not our fault that's what we visual. I mean, that's what we got all the tools. Just hit the button again and let's see what it looks like. Show us reality.
Yeah, well, I think since I already have, so here's the deal, and maybe this is a perfect time. I mean, this is cool.
That's what I'm just saying. To convert our stupid script into the command line way.
Well, here's the deal: is that the script it uses a cluster, so it does like many things at once.
Oh yeah, we love that.
And I don't know, Alex, did you add something like that to parallelize stuff in the command line in the CLI version?
To parallelize like like Puppeteer Cluster, like running multiple like pre-rendering multiple notebooks at once.
That's right.
Yeah, I think I had an example of like how to integrate observable pre-render with the Puppeteer Cluster notebook. It can get pretty dicey though. Yeah, like,
well, is it like
parallel stuff is always.
Is it a Puppeteer command? Is it like a Puppeteer flag that you pass to parallelize it?
So I think Puppeteer Cluster is another NPM package that like someone else wrote, like it's a third-party package that just like offers an easier API to like kind of be like, okay, like I want five Puppeteer instances, and I want them to like run the like, and I have like 100 tasks, so do it in a way that doesn't like break my computer that much. So and then being able to like integrate that with observable pre-render, instead of you just pass in a parameter in observable pre-render that gives it a Puppeteer page, and that page is what the Puppeteer Cluster library uses. So yeah,
just tying lots of pieces between different things.
Yeah.
Page, yeah. So the page.
Hey, Ian, how do you feel about dismissing that enormous dialogue in the bottom right of your screen?
Why don't I go through the recommendations and like think about Doctor? No, thank you for.
I'm sorry.
I think if I do this now, so let me just talk through. I had this script, which is everything Alex described about running observable pre-render, but with Puppeteer Cluster instead of Puppeteer. It's going to save everything into this folder, but that folder already has a bunch of dates
You're
in there.
so smart.
So it doesn't need to rerun those. And so I think that's another thing.
We just add the new dates.
Well, maybe this is a feature request, I guess. But like the fact that this will check if the file exists, then it won't try to overwrite it. Because each of these notebook renders is like pretty expensive, right? It's like it has to download from an API that's not necessarily like cached or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, let me see. I think if I just run this though, I have all the parameters set up. It should go through, and yeah, so it already had a bunch of the, it's going through the earlier months, and then now it should be working on like October days, and so it's writing them out.
One question I have: so you're using Puppeteer Cluster because it takes a long time, and you don't want to wait for for the hundreds of days for it to like go through and do all that. So why does it take a lot of time? Is it like every date change is like a new API call that like downloads the data? Like where's the bottleneck?
Yes, I mean what you said is true. Like every time we change the date,
yes, and
I guess it would re-render
a force
everything.
layout.
But we're also spinning. We're not like waiting for it to change the date and taking the screenshots. We're like redoing the whole notebook every time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think that the API and the rendering alone is enough that to do hundreds. I don't want to wait for it to do it one at a time.
Yeah, because one thing that one part of the CLI that exists now is if you have like a local file, like a CSV or JSON or something, and you just want to replace the value of a cell with like a local file, then there's some support to do that.
Nice.
So what you could do is like if the data fetching was the bottleneck, you could download all the download all the data beforehand, and then just like replace the file with like with whatever cell, so that way you don't have to like wait for that like data call to happen.
That's cool.
I'm unsure about like but like you have a good point about the force layout, because like that's also definitely sounds like a bottleneck.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about
I think we
force
cached
layouts,
it
but, like,
though.
I imagine
I think it's the JSON is like I don't are the positions in raw JSON at this point?
I don't remember if this notebook, we should load up this notebook. We did do that at some point. So that's, but I think we might have done that in some of our election work.
Yeah, I don't know if we did it at this point in time when we were making
that's-
this exact notebook.
That's actually a great point, because we got tired of waiting. Yeah, this is actually recalculating the force layout every time.
See, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. Like it's the API call plus that equals it takes like 10 seconds to render a notebook.
So yeah, absolutely. If we downloaded the data for each day on our, like as a script, and then I've been thinking that, I mean, I can transition to talking about another one, some of the animations I have in there, my smoke data, the wildfire visualizations. Like in that, I did do that. Like I wrote scripts that would it would do the same thing as like just run through a bunch of days, and if it didn't have the day, write the file and then but save out the data, and then I would do a different one that would render the notebook with that day's worth of data.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but here we go. Here's the last month real quick. This is what we just ran.
Okay.
So we were, our visualization last.
Here, open it in QuickTime.
Oh yeah, so I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're talking.
All right, so we'll premiere the. Oh.
Sorry to get distracted. I don't like how the circles appear. I'm against it.
Oh, you think they should just be there?
Yeah.
I'm with that. I think you're right.
Do the size of the circles change?
No. So the circles are sized by population here.
So the force layout, it should be the same for all the frames, right? Like there's no need to like recalculate that and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So actually, you know what? Like, I could do it real quick, but basically what I do is, wait, where am I at? Here. So I go to the force layout. Where'd it go? It's like circles, I think is what it's called. Circles. Yeah, so circles is 3,000 counties. Each one has its position, all that good stuff. What we can actually do is download the JSON. And, it looks like we did this once before, yeah. Go to the file attachments. And
Wait, so what are you doing?
I am saving the circles. And so this way, although I'm not sure, does the circles depend on, oops.
Wait, you're saving the circles, and so then this way what?
We would cache it. It's already cached. It's basically just say like,
it's to sort of pre-save the positions. What we were just talking about.
Yes. So now it's there, right? So if we use circles 2 instead, the only thing I don't remember, and we'd have to like look at, and I'm not sure we want to do that at this very moment, is if it looks like the metric is baked in. So now we have to go through, I believe at this code.
Oh, and remap metric so it's proper.
It's the metric, from, I don't know, shapes with data, it looks like the matching one. So yeah, we don't have to like cache it at this very moment, like run through it, or we could decide that's what we want to do with our time.
Do you think you can do it? I think you could do it in 5 minutes. What do you think?
Yes, I think I could do it 5 minutes. However, we have like 15.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Those are other things we want to do in that 15 minutes, right? Because, I guess improving this map is the thing we want to do, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or like, I'm mostly one that like I would love to use the animate command line tool That was the part, like, I know that we're losing... Oh, actually, that connects both of those dots, right? I want to use the command line tool. The reason we were using cluster is because it was slow. So now we're going to make it fast, and then we can use the command line tool.
I like where you're at. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So I'll try as fast as I can to use this cache data, and so the idea would be join circles. The metric is already baked into shapes with data. So what is shapes with data?
It's the
Oh, it looks like we can get it from the ID. So we can just get the metric.
Oh, sick.
From I guess we'll go through.
So wait, Alex, what have you been using this for? Like, what are you, like, you made it. what you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the reason why I wrote it was because I was working on a like more of a general purpose like CLI tool for like in general like data work or data workflows. So like being able to say like, oh, I want to convert this Excel file to this CSV or this whatever to this SQLite using like kind of like a make file, like specifying scripts to run and like what data should be outputted. So what I wanted was like, okay, now that I have the data outputted, I wanted a way to like from the command line be able to run something to generate a data visualization with like any dynamic data files that come out of it. So, and that was just like a general purpose. Like I'd be playing with like a lot of different like random data sets or whatever. And like, I'd want to like, oh, like what observable notebook can I make out of this or whatever.
Totally.
But I think like the most exciting project that I've been working on recently, it's just like a side thing where like, so what I do is I download a TikTok of someone dancing, right? Like one person dancing. And then TensorFlow.js, they have a model to like a PoseNet simulator to like estimate where someone's pose is,
Sweet.
like, where their shoulders are and like their arms and all that. So then I run that PoseNet thing on every single frame of every TikTok of this dance. And then at the very end, I have like, for every frame, I have a JSON of like, okay, their left shoulder is like in this X and Y and their right shoulder's on this X and Y. So I have a notebook that like given this array of JSON of like every single frame of like kind of like a skeleton of that person dancing without the frame, if that makes sense.
That's awesome.
So it's a work in progress. There's still like I still need to do a lot of work on it.
So what does that
like,
data end up
to,
like? Is that like a bunch of JSON or like how does like what data do you get out of that?
Yeah, so like on every frame, the PoseNet simulator will be like, okay, like here are all the different parts of a body, like their hand, wrist, whatever, and here's where we think it is, like the X and Y, along with like some like score, like from 0 to 1, like of how good like the estimate is.
Okay.
So if you do that on every single frame, then you have like if it's a 10-second video and it's 60 frames per second, then it's like 600 frames of these X and Y coordinates of every single body part. Along with the raw video if you wanted that. So one thing you could do is like have the frame and then paint over the pose on it to see like how accurate it is. Just to see like, okay, like when they move, does their thing move? You could also like if you wanted to, I'm not like really into that, but you could do like an artsy thing where you get like one thing that I wanted to do that we'll see if it actually works is like given one song on TikTok, get like the top 20 most popular dances to it and then see if all the dances line up or if like someone takes it in a new different way.
That sounds
dancing is
so
hard,
cool.
and there's a lot of like it's pretty cool.
No, I didn't mean to stop you, but like that idea, the concept of like having all of that dance data, because like I'm sure you know about all the controversy of like Fortnite taking like dances from people and adding it to their video game, and like this idea of like dance data as proprietary, I mean, like this like value, it's like I mean, like having it, like your collection can become very valuable of your extracted dance data. Like I would love to see, like I would love, you want to sneak us a JSON? What is it?
Sure. Let me see if I can pull up an old notebook.
How are you doing, Ian?
Yeah. While I was searching for that, can you show my screen? Because I did get it to work. I think the cache. I also added strokes to the circles all the time, which makes them not hidden. But I don't know if you like the way
Sorry.
Too many
That was
strokes?
a strong reaction. I hate them. That's my second
Okay.
reaction.
What do you want to do? You want it to just not go to black or something when it's empty?
How come the circles aren't there in the beginning and then they pop up? Can they just be black and nothingness? But not there. Great.
Well, they're just gone, but now, like, if I change the date to be like March 4th or something,
put me back to the
when
beginning.
like everything's just gonna disappear basically. I think they're still there.
They're there.
I can't really tell. But they're just like dark because their value is 0 or something.
Can you bump them like one, like the like lightness like 2% more than the background color, just so they're like, you know what I mean?
Oh no, it's if they don't exist, it does none. So I can just uncomment that.
Yeah.
Why did? All right.
That's your early date?
So this.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That
yeah,
it?
that's
That
perfect.
it?
Beautiful.
All right. So yeah, I guess we did it. We did it in 5 minutes. That's cool.
Great job, everybody.
All right, and the force is cached, but the data is not. So now the question is, do we
The API is
the
not
data
that
or
slow.
we could... All right, I think it's time to try out the command.
Woo!
All right, sorry, but I didn't interrupt Alex though, right? Or Alex?
No,
you
he was
were
pulling up a
something?
notebook.
Yeah.
Okay, just let me know when you have that, or you want to drop something in the chat.
You're gonna.
Yeah, I got the notebook.
Okay, cool.
It is private though, so I could just share my screen with it.
We
I'll
don't
eventually
have the technology for the sharing of screens, unfortunately.
Yes, beautiful.
Uh,
Okay, let me see. Oh, I got an idea. I could just pull out. I can make a.
Yeah, do you want to make like a
Quick
little
thing for it.
shareable version, a little snippet?
Yeah, I got you.
Cool.
Are you trying out the CLI right now?
Yeah, I think Ian is
Yeah,
building
so
us a command.
Yeah, while you're doing, if you want to do that, I can quickly just try to use the CLI on it now.
We can do it all.
Because the thing I'm going to iterate over is dates. I believe I set it up following your original documentation that we have dates. Yes. So, and dates goes from March 1. Wait, why does it only go to that?
Oh, because we just do 1 month in the future. It generates 1 month at a time, and then you overwrote it in your node script to make it actually complete, if I recall correctly.
But this is based on date. All right, so the notebook isn't set up to use this, I think, because in the script, I had it differently. Does it use dates at all? Or maybe I used to have it differently. So I don't use dates, just overwrite date. So everything is based on date. Okay.
Hey, what's up, Bischoff?
So we want...
They were asking what we're up to. We're doing observable pre-render stuff. We're talking to Alex, who is the creator of it, who's given us a little walkthrough.
Yo.
And we have this COVID time lapse that we made, and unfortunately, time goes on, and COVID continues to exist. So we're sort of updating our time lapse of COVID data, but trying to use the command line instead of our script. And Ian was just letting us know if that was possible or not.
All right, so I think I want something else. I want day range from, I don't know, to...
So March 1st to November 15th.
Oops, this needs to be...
Do you like November 12th or something like that? Because it gets upset when you request today.
Yeah, good point. All right, didn't like that. So what did I do? New date. Oh, this needs a closing parentheses. All right, so that's 256 days.
Damn. It's been 250 days of COVID. This is the problem with looking at data of the real world, of like our actual existence.
Just keep clicking.
The days, here's how my experience of COVID is. The dates array just keeps getting larger. in our COVID data.
Yeah, what if eventually we can't even... It's too much data to visualize.
It's just absurd,
depressing.
yeah.
All right. So we can iterate over dates using our command though. So that's good. So I'm just gonna copy this whole thing and bring it into my command. All right, so I'm gonna make... I don't know what all that is. So
I don't know what all that is. It's just like topo.json of somewhere.
COVID bubbles.
It's only 2
All
to
right,
the 8th
so
power.
I can just go in here and change this. So this is coding with fire.
Yeah, that's us. That's the show we're on.
That's us.
Ooh.
I was thinking, I don't know if you hate this or not, but that the folks in our chat could be our sous chefs, right? It's like people are... It's not really an audience, right? It's like a community of people, but like, anyway.
No, I agree with that. I like to think of them as sitting at the chef's table, right? Which is like they get to see the meal being made, and then we serve it to them at the end.
I like it. Well, Alex is certainly our sous chef today.
True that. Guest
Wait
chef.
for an update. No, I want to wait for...
I think it's more like a truffle dealer. You know what I mean? Like you sort of come by with some like choice ingredients, or a knife dealer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got this new knife for you. It chops twice as fast.
I gotta close this giant array before I go crazy.
Those are all the cooking metaphors I have.
So I'm gonna republish this.
All right, while you do all that, I'm gonna look at this dope notebook that Alex just shared, because it has a TikTok dance with a pose net on it. Am I understanding that correctly?
Okay. Yeah, so this is like a very minimal example. This is just like one part of like the entire like kind of pipeline that I'm building. But yeah, so this is a TikTok that I downloaded from some random person, and then most of like the data processing happens like locally on my machine and not an observable notebook.
Okay.
But what it does is that it breaks up the video into like specific frames. On every frame, it'll run the PoseNet estimation algorithm on it, or it's like an ML model that it uses.
Mm-hmm.
And then the output of that is like this array that's in this notebook where, there's a score of like how sure the algorithm is that the points are correct. It has key points so it has like, your left eye, and this is the position that it thinks it's in,
right.
Or your left elbow, and this is where it thinks it in,
how come there's only 430 frames though? Like I would expect there to be, if it's a however long video and 24 frames per second, wouldn't there be thousands of frames?
Well, I think for this specific video is only like 15 seconds long or something.
Okay. So 430 is right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just bad at math.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
And like this data set isn't the same thing as like the video. Like this specific data is like for another TikTok of like someone dancing to a Halloween song.
Got it.
This was just like an off the table like video that I had.
Totally.
But where observable pre-render comes in for this is like for every single frame, I have a notebook that like given a frame and then given that PoseNet estimation, like one element in that JSON array, then it'll draw the frame on a canvas, and then it will draw this what I call skeleton, which is like the red lines and dots of like that person's pose. Mm-hmm. And then I have a script that just like goes through every single frame, and it will like animate it with and it will do that, and it'll generate all that every single frame into like some directory, and then I tie that up and back into a video using like some FFmpeg magic.
That's so dope.
This is like one little project that I used for this.
I love that. This is like, thank you so much for sharing that. Like the data looks really interesting. Sure. You know what I mean? Like I can't like. Yeah. What was the thing that we wanted? We wanted easing data. I think for the wheel spin. Like I want a video of me spinning the wheel, and then use the motion of my spin as the ease for when, you know what I mean? Because we were going through all the D3 eases trying to find one that felt like a wheel spinning. You know what I mean? And I was like, I wish we could just steal, that motion out of something. So this seems like it could be a potential avenue to do something like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Dope. Ian, how do you feel? We gotta no pressure or anything, but.
Yeah, I know we're basically at time. So I am 1 second away, hopefully, from
Wow, that's a bold claim.
it's I don't know. But basically what I figured out, I tried to run the command and it timed out.
Okay.
And it's because we're iterating through these dates, but we don't want JavaScript dates. We want this string of like 2020. So it's year, month, day.
Yeah.
And so I need to format. I'm trying to figure out how to
Oh, look
format
at you
MD3.
formatting dates.
Something like this.
It's like capital M,
Yeah, so
capital
2020
D,
03
capital Y or something. Oh, lowercase.
Yeah. So
But Y comes at the end, right? Or no?
no, it's in the beginning.
Like normal people?
The way that we set this notebook up. All right. Oh, did not like that.
Yeah, it's unhappy about that.
Map it.
It's because I'm supposed to map over this. Why is it?
Yeah, and this is probably because I assume this is because like observable pre-render uses Puppeteer, so when you like translate from like Node.js to like browser.js, you can't do like specific objects like date objects. It doesn't translate in that process well. Do you think that's it, or?
I think it's actually simpler in this case. It's just that the API wanted dates in that string format. So we just did our dates like that.
That's true, because we started with the API and built everything off that. So we started with that weird ass date, and then it persisted forever.
I don't like it. I don't think it likes the map for some reason, though. Oh, well, that's
all right.
Maybe just the browser. Okay, fine. Fair enough. What did I do wrong here? So I changed my dates.
So this is what Alex was just saying.
Oh, okay. So, all right, I need two things. So I need dates to be one thing, and then we'll call these date dates.
Do you want date FNS? Should we bring a library in?
Is going to be dates dot map.
You say date dates?
Date dates.
Oh boy.
And then because our calendar needed JavaScript dates.
Oh my goodness.
But our able that we want to keep changing
wants them in the weird string.
It wants them in the weird string. So, it's just a matter of being consistent or consistently inconsistent. All right, republish now. So I was pleasantly, like, when it said waiting for join circles, it went pretty quick. So I think that in terms of like,
fingers crossed.
Oh, okay. Hey. See, this is actually happening.
Yeah. You guys watched it live.
Alex, you're the man. Thank you so much for figuring out how we could speed this up, and B, making the thing that we wanted to use, that we sped it up for.
Totally.
So that's awesome.
Of course.
Yeah. Let's I made a new folder. So in here.
So we can watch them sort of pump out.
We should be able to see him pop out. Uh-oh, I broke the calendar.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is it because it's updating? It's just appending more calendars over and over and over. Interesting. But yeah, this is so much more efficient because of...
Yeah, it's rendering so much faster than even the cluster did, I feel like.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like a blunder anyway.
It's fine. I think you did a great job. Helen Earth
so,
has asked if the node script will be shared.
Will the node script be shared? I believe we did in the past. So I could... Bubbles.js. Yes, so I think it was like fork I forward to your. It's shared as a gist, whatever. It makes fun of me
Gist.
every time.
Who says gist?
Gist.
Where did you even hear that?
GitHub, gist, gift.
No.
Oh, that's reasonable. That's really reasonable.
Gist.
Gotta go down.
All right. I don't know if I can just like put this in the browser. I think this has to be it.
All right,
Yeah.
you made it just in
All
time. We got 5 minutes. I want to take a little break in between our next segment. Super shout out to Alex for making such an awesome library and joining us again. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And maybe you can join us again next season. We have a bunch of guests planned out. So thank you for getting the ball rolling in such a great way. We super appreciate it.
Man. Yeah, I loved having you on the show, and thank you so much for the project, the help, being here. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Cool.
I love the show too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Nice.
All right.
Just catch when I can.
We'll be back in like 5 minutes or so. Gonna take a little break. See you guys soon. Thanks everybody for hanging out. One. And we're back. We're live. It's Coding with Fire. It's our third and final segment, and it's a bit of like relaxation. Like our hope is to do a little bit more generative art, non-COVID, non-elections, non-NYPD, just some chill data that we can relax to. And what is more chill than random data? So the one piece of generative art that I was curious to tackle is that like while I've been working on sort of the new layout and the new branding and new vibes, I sort of adopted this topography line theme. You can sort of see it in the background, and you can see it a little bit better in the like intro. But anyway, I wanted to try. I made it in Illustrator just by like stealing some lines from some map somewhere. But I'd love to like generate it using an observable notebook, and I found this really cool sort of like how-to article that explains how to do it using Photoshop and Illustrator, and it sort of explains a little bit of the magic of how to do it randomly. Like they start with this like Gaussian blur, is that how you say it? And then they like posterize it, which we've done before in our emoji thing, and then they trace the lines of the posterized. Like this is all stuff that like feels within reach in terms of like stuff that we've done before and accomplished in observable. Oh, look, there's a little image of Alex from before. Let me get rid of that. And so, do you think this is something we could tackle in the next hour? Is that like a reasonable thing? Make some topographic lines? I would love to make them animate. I don't know if that's reasonable, but at the very least, I want to make some lines.
Yeah, I think we could totally do this. Yeah. So the thing is, immediately that my mind jumps to when you have an idea like this, and I'm like, how can I code that? I think of stuff I've seen before or know could work for this, haven't quite used myself, and that's D3's Contour library. So I'm gonna look it up. Two things actually. One is D3 Contour. I think I could actually, okay, well that's pulling up some stuff, right? And, anything by Phil is probably going to be a good thing to look at.
Yeah, shout out Phil.
So I'm going to open that in a new tab, just preemptively. I guess this is based on...
and can we bring Boid, can we involve Boids again? Or is that asking too much?
Well,
what's newspaper contour maps? That's what I want. Hey, it's Ellie. Ellie worked with me. She's worked with 2N. I'm not sure if she's still there, but she helped build the big board with us. She was there. At the decision desk on election night doing some crazy math. Shout out Ellie.
Nice. So yeah, it looks like she is plotting newspaper articles according to a couple axes, then generating contours of those. So cool. That's a lot of so you take dots and you put contours around them. That's what we want to do.
That's what I want, and I want the dots to be Boids.
And you want the dots to fly around and stuff.
I do.
So
just real slow, like really, 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 really slow. But yes.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll have the illusion of flying over land, right? Like if you have the Boids flying up, then like it's as if you're an airplane going over an ever-changing plane, like map. You know what I mean? That's my dream.
Yeah. All right. The other thing is SVG. I wonder if we're going to want to do canvas to keep things speedy. So
yes,
these are things I think about. Do you prefer SVG? No, I'm here for the canvas. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Phil.
Interesting.
Yeah, the labels
so we're
are
in a
cool
second.
touch.
We'll dive into how these notebooks work. I'm also going to shrink things by a little bit so I can look. Because this is a canvas implementation, I believe. So I'm going to pin that open. This one's an SVG. This one says it's simplified. I don't know what that means. Simplify. So I use topo.json to send. That's kind of cool.
That is cool. I don't think we want canvas.
It reduces it by.
I want to simplify it, and I want it on a canvas.
Nice. You just, yeah. And then, so let's put these together. This is just like the basic one, I guess.
This
Looks
is so
like
much like it's like Legos. It's like this is so much like going through the fridge and we're like, all right, we got fresh carrots, we got celery, we got parsley. We probably whip
This one's
something up with this. Looks like Ellie got some really nice truffles.
Okay, so she's like compositing the things here. This is the chart. So it's doing it's doing a geopath on contour data. These are the circles. Yeah, and then the last thing, I guess we want the Boids. We should pull that up because
Yeah.
that's a pretty fun idea. Oh god, look at this. All right, so he actually has several. I remember vanilla Boids, bad Boids.
What kind of Boids do we want?
Animating flow in Antarctica. I really want to click on that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Intro to data visualization. I think we want vanilla Boid. Let's see.
All right.
We might.
But the Alaska one or whatever might be good. Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this technique, I know how we can do that as well, which is fun. Oh, but this is going to use, okay, this is using WebGL. That's like
No
too
aggressive.
hardcore.
Yeah, no
right now.
thanks.
I think in the future, we should have WebGL experts come and teach us how to do this
Oh,
stuff.
you're so smart. If you know any good WebGL experts, drop them in the chat.
Yeah, I know I'm a fan of a few, so it looks like there's a lot.
Let me put this differently. If you know any WebGL experts, drop us in their chat.
What's bad Boids? I want to.
Oh,
this was an unsuccessful implementation.
got
so
it.
We want
They're not naughty. Like they're not. They don't have ill intention, which is how I interpret that notebook, the Bad Boids notebook. That those would be like hardcore anti-establishment Boids or whatever.
Yeah. So this is looping through as fast as it can. I feel like I want to slow it down as one thing.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's a big part of it. We want ticks.
All right.
Give us some ticks, but we want it to be smooth animation. We just don't want them to be going so goddamn fast. I think we still want it as fast as we can. We just want to reduce the motion.
Oh, the speeds. We could just change their speeds somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. But let's see, speed specified as a number. Do they?
Cool. He didn't make us a nice slider for it though.
Yeah. So I guess I'll probably want we kind of want to start here, right?
Yes.
Like get our Boids going, and then put contours on them. So I want a new notebook that will pull from that one for sure. Let's do this. I'll say Boid contours. I'm going to share it with you. I guess I'm just going to publish it.
Love it.
And share it with the chat so folks at home can follow along. And we're going to start. I'm just going to go ahead and like every notebook I end up using, I'm going to put in here because we're going to use a lot of people's cool stuff. So this, I'm not sure. I might want to just copy this render code, right? It's not a named cell, so I can't import it. So speeds. No, speeds is something else, I think. Oh, Boid.speed. So somewhere it creates my Boids, I guess. Oh, that's probably for the frame per second. All right, so I'm gonna copy this thing. To use this in your own notebook, import Boids from vanilla Boids, and that's a good start. Let's do that. So it adds Boids. And it's doing this stuff. So we're going to be able to copy that stuff. But this, okay, so this is adding 5 Boids to start. But it's not specifying their speed. I think we could access each one. Starting speed for the point. Max speed. Pixels per tick. The current one's defaults to 4. Okay, so we should just be able to try this and say,
I want like a 1/4 pixel per tick.
Let's see. Whoa. That's not exactly what we're looking for here.
Yeah. You seem to have made them dumb. I don't know the better way to put it.
This is their brain on drugs.
Yeah, you made the flock kind of... Okay, that seems better.
Well, it's the alignment. So, well, here's the deal, though. If we turn them all into circles, you won't get that same jitteriness, right? Because we won't be showing their direction, because we're not even going to be showing the circles later.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be okay. So how about this? Let's start. I want to get this going in our notebook. So I want to take this stuff. I'm just going to bring it over because we may modify it. I don't know if we want to do the same sliders. We can...
I don't think so. Like, I don't even want any sliders. Let me put some magic numbers in there and make a beautiful work of art. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so perception is 20 right now, so we'll keep that. And let's use tree. Use tree. Okay, we're just gonna use a quad tree, I guess. We'll just say that's a tree. Is it supposed to be?
Wait, the birds are a tree?
No, there's a quad tree to like speed up the calculations, I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I got my Boids, add Boid on event. Okay, we don't need to click to add more. We're just gonna have them here.
Yeah, there ain't no clicking going on.
So then here, okay, vecmath. What is vecmath? Sounds like something I want to... import that.
No, it's just a bunch of vector math.
Makes sense.
Pretty standard stuff.
Add Boid on event. Okay, I'm not going to do any of that. D3 is not defined. Fair enough. Enter HTML of none. Okay, we don't have a ticker. So where was the ticker up here?
What do you mean a ticker?
It's this thing. So like, I think it's what tells you how fast it's running.
What?
I don't know. This thing.
Oh, I see.
Frame rate.
It's like a little console log sort of thing.
All right. So instead of line to move to, we're going to do your favorite thing, which is dpx.art.
Oh, we don't have to do this step, I don't think. Just draw me some contours, bro.
No, well, I still want to see a circle.
All right.
Boid.pause.
Yeah, do you think you
gonna
can
guess
Yeah,
this.
I believe in you, bro. Fucking hit that home run, that context arg, math.pi divided by 2 or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, times 2.
Heyo.
Oh, look at you.
Circle.
See that if I don't believe in code interviews, but as like bonus points, I would be like, hey, great interview. Just for bonus points, do you want to remember how to do a canvas context arc from memory? And if they could do it, hired on the spot, I would say.
I'm with that, yeah. All right. Separation.
They look beautiful. I love their little natural flowing geometry. You're saying Boids get used for water, too?
Oh, it's not Boids, but the same principle of like particles that look at what's happening around them and decide how they're like every time step they decide, oh, I'm gonna like turn this way and I'm gonna have this much force going that way because I'm getting pressure from all these other water molecules.
That's
or
fun.
In this case the Boids, like,
I have another question for
oh, that
you.
guy's going.
When they start
Huh?
in this one, when they start, do they all start with random directions?
I think so. And then we've made their alignment very high. If we like change this, I think they may not like. Is the color encoding their direction?
Yeah, the color encoding is really cool, whatever it is. I think it's distance.
We could look. Color, it's the max speed. Okay. So are they going, how fast are they going relative to the max speed? And this is, so now I think we can change it like we wanted to be a quarter of a pixel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Can we have less?
Yeah.
Can we have like 350 or something? No, just too many. Feels like. Yeah. I mean, does that look like a fucking mountain to you? I don't know.
And I just want the color to be. Well, I think it will. I should publish this to share it too. I think it will look like topographic stuff. I think we should also not separate them as much, maybe. And we could bring them together more.
Hey, say that again.
Should not separate them as much and bring them together more.
That's the spirit of season 2 According to Fire. We're trying to bring them together more. We're trying to bring everybody together. Good vibes only. Good Boids only.
This is gonna be interesting. All right, so, but this is, yeah, it's like we're not using the sliders.
Ian, they're drawing little penises. Tell them to stop.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Look at them.
All right, well, maybe it's time to add contours then. Okay. Hell on earth is appreciates that. Okay, I republished this. I put the link in the chat so folks have it. And let's add contours. So I don't want to label the contours, but I do want to eventually be able to. What is thresholds? I don't know. This is confusing. I've done this once before. So it's going to begin path. It's going to loop over the contours. So data.value. So we're going to have to figure out what data.values is.
Fuck.
And well, and then here's the other thing I want to do.
Speed. Right? We got that.
Yeah, we got speed. No, but so this one shows the dots and the contours. I just want to see how it does the contours. So it calculates contour. That's interesting. Why is it spaced out like that?
So Bischoff said that we lost our PG rating, and Helen Earth says I failed my Rorschach test. But it's not my fault the Boids were drawing little tiny penises. I'm just on the lookout to keep. I'm trying to keep our PG rating. I'm trying to keep the channel clean of any possible, exploit, whether it be human or random number generated, I'm on the lookout. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm a discerning eye.
So I think I'm gonna borrow from this one. I think this is like such a exactly what we want to do kind of situation.
Shout out Ellie.
So yeah, shout out to Ellie. Thank you for teaching us your way. So now I want to look at our little boids here. My boids. My boids. Okay, flock. Oh, that's funny. It's called flock. So each little boid has a position, right? That's what we used before. And it has various properties on it, velocity and acceleration. Oh, it's interesting. So with acceleration, so velocity is how fast it's going, right? How many pixels per second. But acceleration is like, it could speed up. And that's how you can do like most of physics. Like most physics is like acceleration and velocity. So if you have water, you can turn water into like sand or springs or goo based on like the force, the accelerations between particles.
Sick.
Your Boid has a position and velocity.
Ya Boid. Ya Boid.
Hey, check your Boid.
I have one question for you. Do they have a variable that is like talks about how many are around them or their closeness to the closest one or like anything like that? Because that is what I would want to use as like an equivalent of like height, you know what I mean, for our contours, right? Like the more things around them, the higher it is, basically. I don't know if that's how it works already.
I think that's how it's gonna be. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it, because yeah, that's what the quadri is for, is to get neighbors, is to get like how many. And I think that's how these colors are happening too. Like here, there's like a ton of stuff, but maybe they have an additional value, but X, Y, yeah, no, this is just using X. Okay, this is using contour density. So that's the thing. If it wasn't density, then we'd, oh, which reminds me, Phil actually did make a, man, why can't, it's called waves. That's what it's called. Made waves. Because waves of interest, how he made waves of interest. So this actually does something where they make a contour plot of like a U-map or something like that. Is that what it is? Let me get down here. Or no, it's this. They have this discrete thing.
Ooh.
And then they, yeah, first implementation used density contours.
Thank you for dropping the link, How on Earth Is. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should totally have done that. And here's the one I'm currently looking at, which is good stuff. Anyway, I think it's inspirational, but I remembered it because Phil was telling me how they used contours in a way that wasn't straightforward because they're not doing it based on XY points. They're doing it based on this grid of cartograms.
Right.
We are doing it based on XY coordinates.
Woo!
So we are going to do it with the contour density,
Woohoo!
just like Ellie did.
Just like Ellie.
And so we don't care XY. So really, it's just we have to figure out how you draw the contours. So I guess that's where the labels, this one's going to come back in now. So we already have our contours. We don't have to worry about this threshold thing, but this, I think we do want, and I don't know, for now we don't know the colors. This is going to figure out the texts. So this goes like way more in depth than I hope that this is all we actually want. All right, so it's going through every tick, clears the rectangle, CTX. We're just gonna stroke the pad instead of fill it.
What did you just say?
Stroke the pad. We were never never PG show.
Yeah, no, sorry.
YouTube, when I like upload the YouTube videos, like, was this made for children? I say no.
Which is such a good question. I love that it's like it's not is this appropriate for children? That's such a different question from was this made for children? And if it's not made for children, they're like, no. No thank you to that.
This is great. Okay, so I'm gonna crib this stuff here.
Oh, look at you stealing.
I don't like
stealing like a Picasso.
Yeah. It's not width over W. Why is this? Can it just be width over height? And then we don't need that. We don't need that projection. I don't think we need scale at all. Oops.
Yeah, what are you doing the scale for?
Do not know. Let that. Context has not been defined yet. Didn't like that. We don't have our contours. We need to generate our contours.
Why did you just say contours like that?
Contours.
Contour. We don't have our contours.
Where does her contours come from? Contours.
That's not PG rated. That sounded like a bar. It sounded like a Lil Wayne bar. Where do her contours come from?
Oh, because I misspelled it. COUNT, contours.
Where do her contours come from? Is got to be a Drake lyric. It's got to be out there somewhere.
Let's see. Where do her contours? I guess my flock, because it looks like
I just like working with Boids because it's fun to talk about. Ooh, what? Scroll up. What is happening up there? Scroll up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's shifting.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so cool. Okay.
That's the shit right there, bro.
Dude, this is what we're looking for,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I want.
Okay, can I speed them up real quick just to see?
Yeah, it's too slow. It's boring.
Uh-oh.
This is fun. It's not redrawing the contours though. They're just living out their lives post contour, which is kind of amusing.
I'm not doing it every time. That's what it should be doing every time.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, but I don't know why it's dynamically adjusting once there's like too many of them.
Dude, this is so good. Stop criticizing and just take a moment to enjoy this beautiful creation that you made in 33 fucking minutes. This is so cool.
I'm happy. Yes, this is cool. It's nice. We really got to turn off the Boids now, right? Like they've served their purpose.
All right, I guess self-criticism time is back on.
It's not criticism. This is what we wanted. This right here. Although I'm going to continue to criticize.
Dude, it looks so cool. I wish it would be less jiggly and more airplane-y. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. We can do that.
And I think that means that we want to send them all northwards.
The other thing is that I think if we can somehow there's probably a thing where we can just set the number of thresholds on the density. So I think it's dynamically changing.
Oh, we want to hard code some stuff that's taking processing power, you're saying?
Yeah, so if we just set it to some like lower number that doesn't...
Magic number time. Gotta plug them in. It'll make it better. It is magic number... Oh, we should have a whole segment. Magic number time. Gotta plug in the numbers that make the thing really cool.
Smooth sounds like something I want.
Yes, love it.
Oh, it defaults to true, so it's smooth already. Threshold.
Hell on Earth says they liked it with the Boids still on.
I kind of liked it too, so we'll put it back.
Maybe smaller circles, if I had a piece of feedback.
So thresholds are defined as an array of values. Can I... the count is specified instead of an array of thresholds, and the input value's extent will be uniformly divided into approximately count bins. See D3 ticks. Okay, let's try that. So if I say threshold 5, that's not a function. Okay. Oh, density estimation. So I'm not using cell size compute if it's not, defaults to 4, thresholds. That's why, because it should say. Hey, look at that. So it's a lower
Whoa.
number.
Sorry, I was busy banning spammers. That looks sick.
All right, so I'm going to turn the Boids back on as by popular request. I think maybe they could be smaller.
Yeah, that's what I
don't
said
know.
before. Make them like 2 pixels or some snizzle. 1.5.
I like that.
Yeah, classy.
All right, you ready for a trip? This is gonna be a little. I think we could fix more stuff, but I think I want to try something.
No, are
So
you
instead of
ready for
clearing
a
this
trip?
rec-
So yes, and after you do this, we need to get our colors pulled in from our color notebook, and things will be that much cooler.
You're right. All right, let's see if this works. So fill a rect with height.
Need. Yeah.
No, I need it to be less.
Whoa.
Step.
Yeah, give us some more. Less clearing. Yeah.
All right, I think I've earned this.
Yeah. This is pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
want to play with the.
Can you drop the notebook in the chat? All right, I'll grab it again. It's not that far back. I'm gonna plug in the colors. I can do things. I'm a coder. I'm on this show too. I have fucking autonomy. I can do whatever I want.
I'm gonna turn the Boids off just for a second. Maybe I should just make it a checkbox, but. Well, and I have their speed way up, right? Like we didn't necessarily want that, but look, this looks kind of like a music visualization almost.
Oh yeah, that looks sick. That looks really cool, dude.
But we can change the speed. Let's slow it down just a bit. Oh, this is interesting because
Hold on. Bischoff is politely asking if they can get a summary of what we're looking at right now, which I think is completely reasonable.
I mean, usually you have to wait 12 more minutes to get a summary.
Oh shit! No, that's a good. All right, great points.
No, I mean, I'm just messing with you, Brian. So yeah, let's do a quick summary, and we can do another summary later,
Yeah, just we'll do
depending
a
on where we
little
take
practice
this.
run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what we're looking at here is like kind of the original idea. EJ wanted to see a topographic type map, topologic.
Topographic.
Yeah, topographic map where the lines are driven by some kind of generative thing. And then we saw Boids earlier, and EJ was like, what if we made the Boids topographic of the Boids? So we looked up how to make D3 contours, and we found this project from EJ's friend Ellie, right?
Yep.
Where she's got contours of, I guess these are newspaper articles, organized around climate change reporting. And we looked at how she did a contour density plot, and we applied it to the Boid notebook here, which I've artificially messed up to test out the speed here. Max speed. We set that to 1 and we turn it off. And that didn't turn off. Good thing we're doing a practice run. All right, so here's the Boids we applied it to. We got it from Harry Stevens. And so we put those two together, and we can now, let me bring them back. Are you still editing in the cell?
No, do whatever you want. I'm just playing around with numbers.
I will let folks know that that should no longer be a such a big deal in the future. Should be able to edit the same cell. Coming soon to a notebook near you.
Where do you decide
so
how many to make?
It's where we define my boy. Right, yeah, my Boids.
Oh, I see.
We
So
should probably
like
break that out into a variable if you want to.
Yeah. Or
I don't know what that emoji is, but I kind of like it that Brian shared. So
it's like a thinking. I don't know. Bro, it's so much better with less. Actually, it turns out. Who knew?
Yeah, I like it. I still kind of want it to go fast. I don't know, like you like the. I don't know what you think. Did you just update it?
Oh yeah, you do. That's fine.
It's funny. Some of them are kind of like they start off sitting around. Oh, did you change some of the?
Yeah, I'm messing around with it.
I love it. Can we get a brighter second color? I feel like the contrast is.
Oh, okay. It's from our color palette.
Petri dish. I know, but we have like a brighter orange to use.
But that's the orange. All right. Yes. Sure. Yes. It's 012. Try that.
Yeah. Okay, it's moving really fast. 203.
Yeah, I was just seeing what happens.
Well, I'm like half that. Oh, I see. No, it's interesting. Because they don't, even if they're starting slow, they'll get up to that speed eventually because they're affecting each other. I think they should have more alignment though.
It's a little too, I don't like how twitchy it is. How do we get it less twitchy? Like even when it's slow, it's twitchy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the contour density. I'm gonna look more at contour density. Let's see what can be done there.
I think the thing that we could do is, I'm not sure if it works like this, but it feels like if we made our own heat map, like our own grid, where we're counting up how many, I think that's what it's supposed to be doing. It's like counting up the dots in the circle.
Yeah, isn't that what it's doing right now?
Yeah, but
this is pretty smooth. It doesn't... How come they're not all going in the same direction? Let's start there.
Oh, they can go in any direction. So
I want them all going north. As north as possible.
You want them all going north? Well, we could mess with the algorithm or with all the Boids and just set their y velocity to be the same thing every loop, I guess. I wonder if that would...
Yeah, Bischoff says the Boids move smoothly and that the twitching is more the contour lines, and I agree with that. That like when it's deciding when to draw them and not draw them is like it hits the edges of them and...
Yeah. I think it's because the density is there. Well, there should. I thought I saw like a size, cell size. Maybe we want this. It's an estimator of cell size, but it says the individual is an unknown being graded. Specify a positive integer and returns the estimator. If cell size is not specified, it returns the current cell size, which defaults to 4. Cell size run down to the nearest power of 2. Smaller cells produce more detailed contour polygons, but are more expensive to compute. So I wonder if we set that, then it will. Let's see. It won't dynamically change, possibly. So if we want the cell size to be 20.
Whoa. That makes them
That's
kind of
even more
janky
twitchy.
looking. Yeah.
Eesh. It's kind of funny though.
It's
Here it
weird.
goes like 100.
It's kind of hackery. It's got some hacker vibes, like War Games vibes.
If those were like, yeah, like they're kind of glitching in. But what is it? So the speed is high, but those are changing really high. So if I change this to like 2.
Ooh, that feels much better. Whatever you just
Yeah,
changed,
but
I
it's
like
still,
it.
look how like, it's still pretty twitchy.
I love it. This is so much better. Whatever you did times 2 it.
Then it's gonna be really slow to compute,
I don't
but
care.
let's do it. Let's push it. Where did I say cell size from 2 to 1?
Yeah, this is good. This is like kind of
Okay,
what I
but
wanted.
this is actually not. Yeah, this is not twitchy because it's like 1 pixel. So let's slow it. I think if it was less than 1 pixel,
No, now it's twitchy again. Undo. Abort. Turn back, sir. Yeah, this is good. Whatever's going on right now is good.
Okay. Publishing.
And I like it very much.
Yeah. All right. But I kind of want the. I still don't want to see the Boids. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It was nice for debugging, but
You changed how many there are?
yeah.
Yeah, but it's a bit slow. It's not running smoothly.
But it's slow like in the way I want it.
Now, let me see. Oh, but here, I think this will help too. I want it to have that fade effect.
Whoa.
Is that too much?
Trippy, dude. How come they're not all going north?
Oh, right. We never did that trick.
It's the only thing I want.
It's the only thing left you want. Okay. So if I move each one, I should be able to.
It has a definite Petri dish vibes right now.
Yeah, it's kind of lifelike. I like it. I gotta stop staring at it because I'm just gonna not do what you want.
Well,
me
I
to
think
do.
it might be our new background, so we can. There'll be a lot more staring at it to come.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let's see if I can do this. So I have each Boid. It has a velocity. I think I can just like overwrite that to be like -1 and see what the hell happens.
So yeah, they're all doing weird shit, but in a general up. Ooh, zoom background version of this. That sounds cool. What do you do? How do you do that?
Ooh, I don't know.
Is it like a GIF?
I guess so. Does Zoom have movie backgrounds now? I guess.
I mean, we're like old people. Can you put a movie in the Zoom?
This is funny because this is like screensavers back in the day. People would make like generative.
Oh, they're GIFs. Yeah,
PC
so if we
world.
make a GIF, then we can definitely use it as a Zoom background. So I think what you've done, can you turn up the northernness of what you've done? Because I think it's happening, but they're rebelling against it with their pre-existing desire to go in random directions. Yeah, now we're talking. That's the good shit. Now we're flying over fields of ever-changing mountains, which is like pretty much what I was going for.
Well, you did the. What is this crazy thing you did?
Oh, it's based on the width, so when we make it our background, it's not all fucked up again.
All right. That's too slow, huh? Does it run faster on your computer?
Yeah, it runs pretty smooth over here on my fancy pants iMac Pro.
Yeah, I guess we make it a GIF. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about saving out these as frames. Like you wouldn't. I guess it's doing this while loop. You could instead iterate in terms of using observable prerender, like Alex's CLI. Like there's a thing here where it's ticking, and so this while loop. Instead of doing the while loop, we would tick the same thing when we iterate through however many ticks we want, right?
Yes. Well, we have 9 minutes left, and we need 2 minutes to do a recap.
Yeah, I mean,
This is a pretty great ending point. Can we turn off the trails for a second?
yes. So basically, that's just this alpha here. So if we'll kind of keep it very faint. The up feeling is, yeah. I wonder if there's some version of this that looks like fire eventually, like if you did enough, right? And you get this organic changes. You know what, Brian? They're not mispronunciations. It is just the nature of the English language.
Just alternate pronunciations.
Yeah, it's my local dialect.
I somehow made it choppier.
Did you add more things?
That's it.
No, I added more things.
Yeah, why'd you add more things, you silly guy? It's supposed to be like 0.12 or something.
You had 0.14. Well, because it was just like one circle on the screen. You can change it back.
Just make them go closer together.
No, I think that's the problem. If they get too bunched up.
Oh, then do more separation. What if we do like 95 separation?
Ooh, what?
That's fun.
Shot.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
I think it's cool.
Except it's more flickery.
It's changing the lines that are changing are bigger because they're more spread out. So at the bottom.
So let's do like 7.
One thing we do is not show the top and bottom, right? Like if you had.
Oh, like filter out the. That's really interesting. I love that idea.
Yeah, so you kind of want the display height to be different from the Boid's height, I guess. So I want this to be height plus 100, let's say. And then the Boids, you can set their height somehow, sim Boids. Options, Boids the height. So height plus 100, let's see. Yeah, so now when they come back up, yeah, they're still... That's nice, though. Yo, sorry for all the Jeffs out there that about being pronounced with a bad GIF. Jeez, Jeff, jeez. Yeah, I actually have two friends named Jeff spelled like that. One actually does go by Geoff, and the other goes by Jeff. Whoa, what happened here?
Yeah, it happened on my screen too. I guess the background isn't.
But why did you change the height or something?
I may have. What I changed is unrelated to the height. What I made the Y minus less.
Oh no, I did this. It should just be height.
Look at Ian throwing blame around.
I know. I usually blame the closest person to me, and that's you.
All right, valid. This is cool. Looks really sick.
Yeah.
I reduced the Y push a little bit so they move a little more laterally, and it's kind of cool.
Nice. I like it.
So I would say that was a successful stream. That was 3 hours. Well, except for the beginning. I wouldn't say it was. And it was altogether a successful stream despite our many technical difficulties. Thank you to everybody for hanging out and bearing with us and all that.
Yeah, should we do a quick recap of this?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to our little recap
The
scene.
official recap.
Check this out.
Yeah. Yes, thanks for joining.
Do you want to set yourself a little 2-minute timer?
Set myself a 2-minute
Yeah, great
timer.
guest too. Shout outs to Alex for hanging out.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I will pull up a timer. All right. Yeah, let me do this.
Ready?
Yes. So on tonight's generative art segment of our season 2, episode 1, we made this pretty sweet contour of flocking boids. We wanted to make a nice generative background for the stream, kind of like we did at the very beginning of when we started streaming. And we found a couple of things that helped us make this. The first was Harry Stevens' excellent Boids simulation code and class that we could import into our notebook. Just get going. Then we found Ellie made this newspaper contour map. So it's a bunch of newspaper articles which are organized around, I guess, climate change in some way. It's been a while since the beginning of the stream, beginning of the night. But it was a really excellent execution. So we were able to look at how she did the contour there, and we brought that into ours. And then finally, Phil had this great canvas implementation, which is, it's faster to render a bunch of stuff. So at the end of the day, we're rendering our own D3 density contour Boid simulation that we tweaked a lot. And I'll just quickly render. You can see that these circles, these dots, are the Boids, and EJ wanted them all to go up, which they do, so that's fun. And yeah, so I think we got ourselves a good stream background from here on out. Turn this into a video. Yeah.
That was a dope stream.
Mm-hmm.
Great recap. Way to go, buddy.
Thanks.
You recapped the shit out of that.
There we are. Here we are.
All right.
All right, man. Yeah, this was good. This was fun.
That was a trying stream. First of all, thank God your circle hasn't resized in a while. There's so many things I gotta fix. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everybody who stuck with us and hung out. Thank you to Bischoff and Helen Earthis and Alex and everybody to makes it fun to do these episodes. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess we're doing the season 2 thing, so we have a whole schedule mapped out. And the next one is, I believe, this Thursday,
Yep.
right? Same time?
Yep.
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern.
Yep, we're gonna have our tour poster out soon. I threw together some stuff for this season. Hopefully, you'll be seeing more of it. If you have any feedback or suggestions around, we're trying to be a little more professional around these parts. We're learning as we're going.
Yeah, it was kind of that, like, changing the wheel on the car while you're driving in the beginning.
Totally.
But if you think about it, right, by the end of tonight, you got it all really ironed out and it looks great. So last time it took us, I don't know, 10 streams to figure this out. So we're getting places. I think it's good.
Totally. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys. See you on the next stream. Details to come on our Twitters and such. You know what we never say? Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed watching. Also, I also never mentioned this. You can hire me to do data viz for you. That's a thing that's possible. So if you like
tell your
this,
friends, right?
Yeah. Tell your if you know anybody in charge of large accounts, tell them who needs data viz. Let them know that
must have data.
But... Yeah, data. Yeah, must have data. But otherwise, I'm pretty flexible. But yeah,
he's pretty good at this stuff too. So
thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you for a great stream.
Yeah. See ya.
All right. Peace out.